Am I the asshole for fake sleeping all night to see if my wife is lying? The past couple of months, my wife has been complaining about our cats. She's been claiming that the cats wake her up constantly and that she's frustrated every night that she has to get up and open the door for the cats. Or the cats keep making noises, or the cats keep jumping on her. It got me to the point where she started saying she wants me to get rid of them. I've told her I've never seen or heard any of this, but she claims I sleep through it all. She kept telling me that she was getting less and less sleep and kept acting aggressive, blaming lack of sleep from the cats and that if I didn't get rid of them, she'd leave me. I legitimately started considering giving the cats to my sister until I noticed something. One morning, she claimed she had gotten up multiple times throughout the night to help the cats. She listed a bunch of times. I thought it was weird because I had been up until 4 a.m. and she claimed that she got up at 1 a.m. to open the door for them and a few times around 3 a.m. because they were meowing and jumping on her. I was in the bedroom the entire time while she slept, and I know none of this happened. Things weren't adding up, so I decided to run a test. I waited until she said she was going to bed, then I let the cats out of our bedroom. I lowered my phone brightness and faked going to sleep. I just laid there in my bed for the entire night bored, but I definitely did not fall asleep. I made sure to make timestamps every 30 minutes on my phone through Discord just to be sure. I marked down every noise my cats made. One cat had jumped down from something and made a little noise around 3:18 a.m. and one ate food relatively quietly by the bedroom door at 4:57 a.m. Other than that, nothing happened. Sure enough, my wife slept from 11 p.m. until 9 a.m. and that morning she claimed she had woken up at least 7 times to open doors from the cat noises and cats jumping on her. At this point, I was pissed because she was clearly lying to me. I was exhausted and fed up with the lies, so I bluntly called her out on it. I told her, "That's funny. I stayed up all night to monitor the cats and they weren't even in the room at all last night. I have timestamps and everything. So you've been lying to me and trying to convince me to get rid of my cats? Why?" She just sat there quietly shaking and looking pissed, then got up and left without answering. She came back hours later and ignored me whenever I talked. And when I asked her how I'm the bad guy in the situation, she finally said that I was treating her like a child by lying about sleeping and staying up all night just to see if she was lying or not. And that making timestamps and everything as if I was an investigator was going too far and makes me an obsessive asshole. I did it because she was threatening to make me get rid of the cats or she'd leave me, and her claims didn't add up. So am I the obsessive asshole here? Am I wrong for making my wife think that our son was missing? My wife has a horrible habit that I discovered 2 months ago. We were ordering lunch on the Subway app and I told her to pick the location that has a drive-thru. That way we don't have to go inside and take the baby out of the car just to clip him back in a few minutes later. She told me it's not a big deal to leave the baby in the car to run in and pick it up really fast. I had no idea she ever did this. I told her I was not comfortable with her leaving him in the car alone even for a minute, and she told me that she's been doing it since he was born and it's always been fine. Oh my god, that is not okay. She told me she does it to pick up food, run into the post office or pharmacy, etc. I was floored. We don't live in a horrible area, but it's also not super safe either. I told her to not ever do this again. She told me that she never stopped to think about the potential danger and that she would stop doing it. Well, yesterday as I was driving home from my brother's house, I spotted her car at the gas station near our place. It was parked in a spot up front, not at a pump, so I figured she stopped in to grab some snacks, which we like to do. I decided to stop and go in and say hi and get some food, and I pulled in and parked next to her. However, when I got there, I was furious to find her son in his car seat. The car wasn't even locked. Ooh, she's asking for a CNN story. I don't know what came over me, but in that moment, I decided to take my son and put him in my car. He's got a car seat in there too. I then drove to the other side of the gas station parking lot and waited for my wife to come out. It took 6 minutes for her to appear. When she saw that he was gone, she looked stunned for a second and then started to frantically look around and cry. I didn't let it go long. After this, I saw her pull her phone out, presumably to call 911, and that's when I pulled my car around to see her. I parked, got out, and walked around to my son's door and opened it to show him to her. She looked extremely relieved, but that quickly turned to anger with her asking me why I took him and did that to her. I told her she needed to learn her lesson and she promised to stop leaving him in the car and that she was extremely irresponsible. It was so easy for me to pull up and take him. No one else at the gas station even noticed. So if he really was taken there would have been no help and it would have been 100% her fault. She proceeded to call me cruel and psychotic and tried taking our son out of my car into hers. I said no and that I would be driving him home, and I left. She came home not much later but ignored me the rest of the day. She acknowledged me today saying she wanted an apology, and I said absolutely not, and she's the one who should be saying sorry. She's been guilt tripping me the rest of the day, saying no mother should experience the fear I put her through. Did I go too far? Am I the asshole? Am I wrong for being mad at my fiance for replacing my coffee with decaf? Okay, I know nothing about coffee, so I don't know if I'll be able to relate to this, but here we go. So I, 31 female, am currently 4 months pregnant with my fiance, 32 male. We've been together for 7 years and are planning to get married soon. We've been meaning to for years, but have never seen it as urgent until we both found out that I was pregnant recently. We're both over the moon and really excited. However, I haven't become overcome by mommy fever or anything. Now, I have been lucky enough to not have experienced any morning sickness or nausea or anything like that. or any extreme symptoms in my pregnancy. However, last week, I started getting absolutely killer headaches. I would describe it as if someone had taken an ice pack to my eyeball. I am someone who usually drinks 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day for context. I told my husband about these headaches and started to get really worried because I thought I was going to have the flu or maybe something worse, which could be bad for the baby, but he didn't say anything. After a week or so, the headaches pass, but I've noticed I'm a lot more tired than I used to be. I tell him this as well, and he still doesn't say anything. Well, this morning I found a pack of decaf coffee empty in the garbage, and suddenly it dawns on me what's been happening. I'm the only one of us who drinks coffee, and he's the one who's been doing the shopping the past 2 weeks. I confront him, and he admits that when he's ordered to do the weekly shopping, he's just been reusing my usual coffee tin and buying the decaf version of the same product because caffeine is bad for pregnancy, and he knows I don't have the will to do it on my own. But look, I've quit now and can spend the rest of my pregnancy without it. He said he didn't want to make me feel bad about my vice by confronting me and that it would be easier to quit if I wasn't doing it intentionally, so he did all 3 of us a massive favor. I tried to quit caffeine before as a detox a few years ago and only made it 2 days, he points out. I lost it and said he was a horrible person. Basically, I started packing my belongings and said that the way he acted is evidence that he actually not only completely lacks respect for me, but that he caused me immense stress, knew it, and still didn't own up to it until I had to confront him. He is refusing to apologize, so I'm staying at our friends until he does. However, he doesn't think he did anything wrong. He and his friends think I'm being the asshole because he was just doing what's best for his baby's health, and that I'm completely overreacting and that my reaction is just pregnancy hormones. I'm really upset and feel like I'm making a massive mistake. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just coffee.
My boyfriend and I have been together for about a month and his mom never lets us do anything. We're both in our late teenage years, me being 15 and him almost 16. Ever since his mom found out, we can't do anything together. I can't go over to his house, I can't hug him when he's upset, and I can't even have any quality time with him outside of a town church group. I'm not even Christian, but it's the only way that I can ever see him. She says that she's protecting her son from some sort of misunderstanding as if he's going to do something horrible to me, when I've known him the entire school year and been a close friend of his up until we started dating. For example, she flipped out on me after I went to comfort him after she had just gotten done screaming at him, and I mean screaming, for us being in his room. I gave him a simple hug, which I only offered, and she freaked out at me over it, saying, I'm his mother, I'm the only one who comforts him, and made me stand in his kitchen for 20 minutes while she yelled at him again about how it's her house and her rules, then going on to say that he had no say in what he could and couldn't do with anything relating to me. I'm going to see him later today at a birthday party, and his mom is going to be with him and his little brother. She's also sent me several rude messages regarding me changing her son and making him think he can do whatever he wants, when all I've done is comfort him and try to make him feel better about how much she verbally abuses him. I'm lost and I don't know what to do. I, 36 female, have a daughter, Sadie, 12, with my ex-husband, John, 39. We got divorced 5 years ago and I have primary custody while he sees her 2 weekends a month. Last year, he got married to Amanda, who has sole custody of her kids, 10 and 8 female, from a previous marriage. Amanda is a stay-at-home mom, not for any health reasons or so on, she just doesn't want to work, while John works 9 to 5. He makes good money to support them, but not enough to live in luxury. I have a much higher paying job. Since it's just me and Sadie, I make sure that she has the best possible life. She goes to a private school, set up her college fund, and she has much better things than most kids, phones, clothes, etc. I still manage to raise her to be humble and not take things for granted, and she's one of the hardest working people I know, always making sure to get good grades and keep her room tidy. Well, the last few times she came back after a weekend at John's, I noticed that the clothes she was bringing back in her duffel are A, not her size, and B, much cheaper and poorer quality than what I usually buy for her. I asked her why that is, and she told me that while she's at her dad's, Amanda takes away her nice clothes and gives them to her kids while Sadie gets the clothes they buy from Target. I asked her if she wanted them back, but she said that she didn't mind sharing since all of her favorite clothes were kept here. The problem came when I went to pick her up last weekend. I had a business meeting and I couldn't drive her over, so Amanda offered to just pick Sadie up from school, which hadn't happened before. When I got there on Sunday, John and Amanda asked me to sit down with them, and when Sadie came to hug me, Amanda sent her to her room quite harshly, saying her punishment wasn't over yet. I was confused because Sadie very rarely misbehaves. They sat me down in the kitchen and said that it was unfair for Sadie to be going to a private school while her kids go to a public one, so they decided that Sadie would be pulled out of private school and put in the same school as the girls. They also said I should keep up Sadie's punishment because when they told her, she blew up at them, told them it wasn't fair, and yelled that Amanda and her kids weren't even her real family, all they did was steal. I told them in no uncertain terms to fuck off. I would not be pulling my child out of a school she likes away from her friends because they can't afford it. I told them that they could easily make as much money as me if Amanda started working in her field because she has the qualifications and the job market is very good. I told them that their money problems are not my issue, and if Sadie's items get stolen again or they try to pull her out of school, I'll be taking this to court. They've been blowing up my phone ever since, calling me a selfish asshole, and after telling the story to my friend, he told me that I was rubbing my success in their face, but I still don't feel like I did anything wrong. Am I the asshole for telling my ex that his lack of money is not my issue?